You got me?
Yes.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is 5:32, and welcome to the March 19th Harlingen City Commission meeting. The agenda and the announcement was posted in accordance with state law. We do have a quorum, and we have 4 commissioners here present. We also have Commissioner Mesmar on Zoom. Would you please, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and cover the invocation if you were on the ticket for today.
Yeah. No, I've got the invocation
Oh,
for
you
it.
got it? All right, well, please rise
Yeah.
for the invocation led by Commissioner Mesmar.
Okay. It's from Psalm 142. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Give ear to my supplication in the truth. Hearken unto me in your righteousness. Enter not into judgment with your servant, for in your sight shall no man be justified. For the enemy has persecuted my soul. He has humbled my life down to the ground and set me in dark places like those long dead. And my spirit was despondent within me. My heart within me was troubled. I remember days of old. I meditated on all the deeds and the works of your hands that I meditate. I spread my hands unto you. My soul thirsts for you like a waterless land. Hear me speedily, O Lord. My spirit has failed. Turn not away your face from me, lest I become like those who go down into the pit. Cause me to hear in your mercy in the morning, for I have hoped in you. Make known to me, O Lord, the way wherein I should walk, for I have lifted my soul up to you. Deliver me from mine enemies, O Lord, for I fled unto you for refuge. Teach me to do your will, for you art my God. Your good spirit shall guide me in the land of uprightness. You shall quicken me, O Lord, in your name's sake. In your righteousness thou shalt bring my soul out of affliction. In the mercy thou shalt lay waste mine enemies, and you will destroy those who afflict my soul, for I am your servant. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Saucy, if you do the conflict of interest, please.
Under state law, a conflict of interest exists if a commission member or certain members of that person's family has a qualifying financial interest in an agenda item. Members with a conflict of interest cannot participate in the discussion or vote on the agenda item. Are there any known conflicts of interest to disclose at this time?
I'll be abstaining from 10H and 10J.
None.
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 All right.
Item 3, announcements. With respect to items not listed elsewhere on this agenda, the City Commission may report on items of community interest, including announcing community events, announcing employee or community recognitions. Item 3A, Mayor's announcements. Commissioner Kingsley, do you have anything to
The
add?
only thing I'd like to do is send out condolences to retired Chief of Police Mike Kester on the recent passing of his mother. For anybody who has been through that, that is a devastating event. So, Chief, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Item 3B, City Manager's announcements. Mr. Gonzalez, do you have anything to announce?
Yes, I do. The city, in cooperation with the Harlingen EDC, is going to have another Let's Get Down to Business event on March 29th. That's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Harlingen Convention Center. So anyone wishing to expand their business or open a new business is welcome to attend and get more information on the process of doing that. That's all I have.
Okay. Item 3C, City Commission member announcements. Commissioners, do you have anything to announce?
Okay. One, I echo Commissioner Kinsley's message, and also like to add the passing of former Commissioner Jerry Perpetual. Our condolences to his family. Thank you.
I just wanted to go ahead and congratulate the Villa Middle School band, because I know they were up there in Indianapolis. It was some Villa students and also some freshmen from South that went out there and represented the city of Harlingen, Indianapolis, and they did a great job, and I just wanted to give them the recognition that they deserve, and great job.
Okay, moving on to item 4, proclamation, presentation of awards. Item 4A, Harlingen Animal Shelter Pet of the Week.
Good evening. I'm Angela McNeil. I'm one of the adoption coordinators at the shelter, and Jerry and I have brought Sugar tonight. Sugar is a 6-month-old golden retriever mix. He's gotten adopted once and brought back due to no fault of his own. He is fully vetted. He went and got neutered this past weekend, so he is neutered. He is fun. He walks pretty good on a leash for his age. He did great walking in here. And he's really sweet, as you can see. I would like to add also that we will be at PetSmart this weekend from 12 to 3 here in Harlingen. We will be having a free adoption event at the shelter from 1 to 6 and also at PetSmart. We will, on the March 29th, have a microchip clinic going on from 9 to 11 in the morning, that you can just drive up with your current utility bill and your ID, and it is $10 to get a microchip. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 6. If anyone would like to come in and see our animals, we've got some real cuties right now, as you can see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets adopted before you make it out of the...
Item 4B, recognition award goes to Harlingen High School South Adam Hernandez for the TMEA All-State Jazz Band.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I see that we have a full house, which we always love. So this recognition award is from the City of Harlingen, proudly congratulates Adam Hernandez, Harlingen High School South student, for being selected to perform with the TMEA All-State Jazz Ensemble 2, and for earning a chair in the TMEA All-State Jazz Band. And so it will be presented on this day, the 19th of March, 2025. And so if Adam Hernandez would like to come up and say a few words.
Hello. I'm sorry. Hello, I'd just like to thank y'all for this honor. It's really great to be honored by the city for this accomplishment. Nice to have your hard work recognized. Thank you.
If I could ask the commission to come on down, we'll get a picture with him, and Rennie, since he's one of yours, present him his award.
On behalf of the city, just like, Melissa was mentioning, we want to go and recognize Adam. He's not one of my students at South, but I know I do have a lot of band students, and I see all the work that they put in to, perfect their craft, to practice, and all the competitions that they do. And the fact that you were able to make it to state is exceptional, it's phenomenal, and we're really proud of you for representing the city of Harlingen over there in state. Okay, so congratulations on behalf of all of us.
Item 4C, recognition award to a Harlingen High School South Lady Hawks basketball team.
So our next recognition award goes to the Lady Hawks basketball team for an exceptional season and outstanding accomplishments in their District 32-5A champions for the first time in 14 years. Their head coach, Rebecca Littleton, I will invite to say a few words as she accepts this award. And as a former Hawk, I have to say, right on, ladies. Coach, if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
I just want to thank you all so much for this recognition, the City of Harlingen, the community. We are very proud here. I want to thank my staff and obviously the girls for all of their hard work this season. We are very happy with the outcome, but we couldn't have done it with all the support of our community, our school board members, our administration. So thank you again for the recognition. We appreciate this so much.
You can have your whole group come down, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Perez once again to hand out the awards for his folks.
We do have individual certificates for all of you guys. The only thing is we're missing the signatures of that guy there. Once he gets here, we'll go ahead and get to the final signature, and then I'm going to take it to South, to Coach Littleton, so I'll be getting it out to all. Again, we're here recognizing the Lady Hawks for the district championship, and for the first time in 14 years. Again, I just like to bring that up. They brought the title back where, in my humble opinion, it belongs. Sorry for the problems in the room. But again, we're extremely proud of you. I know you guys have already been recognized by the school board, right? Oh, not good. At some point, yes. But you guys do an exceptional job, and I know I've had some of you in my class, and I know with the amount, like at least for my class, the amount of homework that I give, and from the other teachers, and the fact that you're still able to perform and excel, and then bring the title back where it belongs, it's an amazing job. And for you ladies and coaches, I mean, you guys do an amazing job. I know I work directly with Claire, and I see her every day in the hallway. And I see how she's up and down, and, you know, even after our day's over, she's over there, Simon doing practice. And I admire you coaches because, I mean, it takes a lot of time, the fact that you guys are able to do it and sacrifice time with your families and everything to do what you do and perform so, and have your girls perform so brilliantly is phenomenal. And we want to thank you for your commitment. That's it. And again, congratulations and thanks for bringing it home to Harlingen. And last thing is, the reason we recognize you because every time you go out there and you play any other city, like whether it's West Dakota, whether it's Edinburgh, anywhere, wherever you play, you're representing the city of Harlingen. And the fact that you're out there, you're playing and you're winning, you're doing great. And this is our small little token of the same. Proud of you. So thank you.
Perfect. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Got it.
Hold up.
Champs.
Item 4D, presentation of award goes to Ms. Rebecca Littleton, Coach of the Year.
So our next Our award recognition goes from the City of Harlingen congratulates Rebecca Littleton, Harlingen High School South Lady Hawks Basketball Coach of the Year, in appreciation for your exceptional hard work and dedication to your student athletes for the season of 24 through 2025. And this is being presented on the 19th day of March of 2025. So Coach Littleton, if you'd like to, I know you were just here, but if you'd like to come back up.
Thank you again. I didn't think I was getting an award. I thought it was about my girls, so I appreciate this. But I couldn't do what I do without my staff. And the reason I'm getting this award is because my kids are amazing. And I thank you again for the recognition, and I appreciate this. Thank you.
Hey, folks, one more time. If I may, Coach of the Year, it goes way beyond your skills. It goes beyond the leadership and mentoring that you give these young ladies out here. That's the awesome part of it. I mean, I could probably go out and teach them how to do it, but not nearly as well as you. But it's the other things you bring to the table with you every evening when you walk out and talk with them. So thank you so much. That's amazing. Hey, don't go.
Ready? 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and.
Great. Go.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next up, we have the proclamation to World Society Work Day.
So today we have a proclamation for World Social Work Day, and I will read the proclamation as follows before I invite the committee's chairman, Remi Garza, to come up and say a few words. And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas World Social Work Day is a global celebration that highlights the achievements of social work profession, raises the visibility of social services, and promotes the future of societies built on social justice and human rights. And whereas Social Work Day is observed annually on the third Tuesday of March, serving as a significant occasion in the social work calendar where social workers across the world unite and celebrate and advocate for their essential contributions to individuals, families, communities, and a society as a whole. And whereas the theme for Social Work Day 2025 is social work, compassion, and action, emphasizing the profound impact of social work in transforming lives through empathy, advocacy, and service. And whereas social workers serve in a variety of settings, including schools, hospitals, mental health centers, social service agencies, and beyond, and play an essential role in fostering stronger, healthier, and more equitable communities. Now therefore I, Norma Sepulveda, Mayor of City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim the third Tuesday of March 2025 as World Social Work Day. Mr. Garza, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Today we commemorate the remarkable contributions that social workers have made and our impact on every single day. This year's theme, Social Work, Compassion, and Action, highlights the vital role the social workers play in creating positive change daily. From supporting families to advocating for mental health, social workers are the driving force behind positive change. We acknowledge and appreciate the dedication, compassion, and relentless efforts that social workers do. Today, we recognize the significant contributions social workers make to build stronger, healthier, and more equitable communities. Thank you.
Presentation. usually the old guy in the room. I was raised in the generation of suck it up, buttercup. I mean, it hurts too bad, get over it, get on with it, go. Especially 30 years of the Marine Corps, that was pretty much how we operated. So, you know, the world we live in today needs you folks. And, you know, thank God we have people willing to step up and take on the mantle of helping those that need the help. So, well done to all of you. Congratulations. I've only got one of these to give a shot. I'll let him pass it around so you can each touch it with it. Support that.
Anyone that can step up on the top row.
Are you gonna talk to him?
Okay.
I sent her a copy of whatever, and then I always just invite you.
Right there. Okay, perfect.
You know, they give $1,500 now.
Okay, fabulous. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and.
Can y'all stay for just a second? Okay, one more.
Excuse me, on the consent agenda, I'm gonna add a street. Oh, okay. Okay, which is HJ.
Moving on to item 5, citizen communication. At this time, the public is invited to address the city commission and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere in this agenda. Please note that the city commission members may not respond to comments or deliberate on topics addressed. Mayor Pro Tem, we have a total of 3 public comments for today. We will start with Ms. Dawn Ray Seeley Leonard.
It is vital for a local government body to welcome public comment and to convey a welcoming message to its community. How governmental bodies conduct their public meetings is a critical factor in building trust and connections to create a strong community. If you disconnect from the public in any way, damage will ensue. Mayor, you failed to convey a message of warmth and welcome by your demeanor, facial expression, body language, and tone. The members of this body must show the same by their posture, their facial expression, and that they are interested in what the public is saying, and that they welcome their constituents' comments. Sadly, the mayor continues with bad practices and now denies the public the video portion of public comments during commission meetings. I'm certain the decision to alter the video on February 5th was to shield Teresita Garcia's identity as she publicly defamed and slandered me, but more on that later. The ability to view the video of public comment helps to improve the understanding and accountability of the behavior of the commission members and other officials while being recorded. The mayor interrupting and yelling at speakers, eye-rolling, texting, laughing, changing the rules for some and not others, or behavior that's considered inconsiderate and unethical shows signs of disrespect to the public speaker and the citizens attending the viewing and meeting. Not showing the speaker while speaking, not showing the commissioner's behavior while the public is speaking begs the question, What are you trying to hide? The action is unacceptable. The video of public comment keeps the commission transparent and assists the public in familiarizing themselves with their commissioners and how they operate during meetings. And while the city has a very nice logo, I would rather be reading the room. I can find no legal requirement for the commission to specifically provide the video portion of public comment. However, the act of discontinuing this practice and concealing video content is very telling about how you do business. Mayor, we all know transparency is not your strong suit, yet this is another demonstrative violation of the public trust. I doubt you will find one citizen who agrees with cutting the video feed during public comment. This deceptive practice needs to stop immediately. The greater the power, the more dangerous the abuse. Mayor, you have and continue to abuse your power. But fear not, Harlingen, November is coming.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have Raymond Reyes.
Raymond Reyes, 706 Nantucket Drive here in Harlingen, obviously. So, as always, there's always a lot of good things going on in Harlingen. I myself have a big show coming up on the 22nd at one of my venues, but I have even a bigger show coming up on April the 12th, where we're supporting a nonprofit, 97.7. I got a really good response, got a lot of good vendors. We got 8 bands volunteering their time to put on a good performance, following the rules, the protocols in place. Since it is for a nonprofit, we requested the use of the city stage, so I'm hoping that'll be agreeable and allowed. I'm just trying to do my part and make Harlingen vibrant and everything. But again, there's always two sides. I did notice, not that I like to see myself on video and stuff, but I did notice that I do see the Harlingen logo on there now, and I'm a stickler about certain things, being an analyst, and so I started looking into it a little bit. I was given several explanations of why that occurred, but my main thing is, again, being the type of person that I am, I always like to address things that are concerning and find out if that can actually be done. And, like right now, currently I'm involved in 4 litigations because certain things just didn't go right. So I asked some people that work with municipality law. I even sent an email to Austin and waiting for the response. And I was reading the guidelines on that, and yes, it has to be recorded, the audio and the video, but there's no specific rules saying that it can be changed. If it ever came up for any type of litigation purposes, could that argument be made that that particular evidence, if it was utilized, was tampered with because it was changed? I've been involved in a lot of things and seen people lose huge amounts of money for less. Some people have talked with lawyers, some people are lawyers. I just like to prevent things. If it doesn't need to be changed, the commissioners up here, the individuals that represent the city, know what they got into. You got to take the good with the bad. I do every day, and I sleep like a baby, trust me. So I think that for whatever reason, if it needs to be corrected, then it should be addressed and corrected. No vices, just let's do what we've always been doing and do the right thing would be the best thing, in my opinion. And that's all I have. I beat the buzzer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, we have Robert Leftwich.
Robert Lethwich, 909 East Parkwood. Obviously, by taking the action of removing the video feed, that just shows the community exactly what you guys are, non-transparent. What else are y'all doing that's less than transparent and keeping from the community? But that's not what I'm going to come here to talk about. But let me just point out something else, because you guys have heard me around tax time. And, well, we're seeing the ramifications of these $2 million, $1.5 million tax increases. The mall, once again, has failed to pay their $306,000 property tax bill. They're now in penalty and interest of over $25,000. And I know when we get into budget, the city manager always says, well, we can't cut anything. What essential items do y'all want us to cut? But yet we're spending more on the animal shelter. Yet we've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in new multimedia equipment and people running the social media department. But yet y'all don't even want to videotape the citizens when they come up here and speak. I mean, what's going on with this city? The mayor seems to be a beneficiary of the $25,000 in penalty and interest. She's taken $2,500 from Linebarger. A couple of you guys have, right? For the public, Linebarger, Blair and Sampson LLP is our delinquent tax collector. So you guys sit there and raise our taxes, and then y'all get these nice little campaign donations from the delinquent tax collector. And then we wonder why the mall struggles. Y'all just keep raising the taxes on them. $300,000. They're going into their second month of penalty and interest, and it increases every month. And it will increase again on April the 1st. And eventually, they're going to have about a $40,000 or $50,000 penalty and interest. The fact of the matter is, the last time the county tax assessor came to the city of Harlingen after the January 31st deadline on the first meeting in February, he explained to y'all that 1 out of 10 Harlingen taxpayers are in penalty and interest because they did not make the January 31st deadline. So I plead with you guys, first of all, be more transparent. I've asked that y'all put y'all's travels expenses on the city's website. We shouldn't have to do an open records request for something like that. Put the top 5 salaries of the city employees on the city's website for transparency. I mean, we're going backwards. Now y'all don't even want to video us as we ask you of these things. And I'm just going to say, we've got to do a better job because we're going to end up like that little town in Chicago with the super mayor. And I think our mayor with her taxes and glitz and glamour has got us on that track. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That concludes our citizen communications, Mayor Pro Tem. So we'll go on to item 6A, approval of minutes, regular meeting of December 18th, 2024.
Motion approved. Second.
The motion approved by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Perez. All in favor is aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 7, consent agenda. No discussion is anticipated on any of the items in this section because they are routine business, were included in the budget adoption process, or have been previously discussed as a staff report or discussion item. These items will be considered collectively by a single vote unless a commission member requests an item be removed from the consent agenda.
Any items we need to modify? Commissioner Morales, you had one you mentioned.
Yes, Jay. The only thing I'd like to add to the 2 streets is add 2200 block of South G Street for speed humps. That's it. Thank you.
I wanted to add some stuff for streets too, but do we take it out first and then act on it, or do it right now?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Also wanted to add Drury Road, speed hump between Drury Road between Altas Palmas and Beckham Road.
It's already on there.
Oh, crap, yeah, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant Sunnyside Lane and Altas Palmas.
Any others?
No.
All right, I'll get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner.
Pull 7B.
I'll make a motion to approve all the other items, including the additional streets Commissioner Perez and Commissioner Morales added.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lopez, second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 7B, consideration and possible action to approve a request from Alexis Rios, Downtown Director, to close the following streets Saturday, April 12th, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the Save the Station event. east side intersection of West Jackson, south side intersection, 100 block of North C, north side intersection of the 100 block of South C Street, west side intersection of West Jackson Avenue and West Street.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Gabe, this is the one that Mr. Herman Reyes just spoke about. I know that in the email, he also requested the city stage. Will we be giving him that as well? I know this only has to do with streets, but
Right,
the backup had that additional request.
right. And staff was looking into, normally if it's for a for-profit event, we don't allow the free use of the stage, but he just clarified there was for a nonprofit, so we just have to get that information, put it in the application, and then, once we get all that, then we can, and I think he requested the smaller stage, the one that, yeah. So that's, once we get that, we can make sure that it gets added.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to approve this item.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lopez, second by Commissioner Morales. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Consent agenda passes.
Okay. Item 8, staff reports and other discussion items. Items in this section are not expected to require action by the City Commission and are generally for information only. However, any item listed in this section may become an action item at a future meeting with the request of the mayor or after the request of any 2 commission members or the city manager. Item 8A, city manager's report.
I don't have anything, thank you.
We'll move on to item 8B, staff reports, presentation by Robert Rodriguez, Finance Director, on the City of Harlingen Investment Report for the quarter ending December 31st, 2024.
Good evening, Commissioners and members of the staff. Today I will give you a brief overview of the investment report for the quarter ended the quarter ended December 31st, which includes October, November, and December of 2024. So this is a portfolio summary. So if you look at our current, as of December 31st balances, our book value is $85,132,426 compared to the September 30th balance, which is $74,037,226. Our income summary is we've earned interest of 800, since it's the first quarter, it's cumulative, so it's all earned this quarter. We've earned interest of $872,973,000, and we have a net amortization or accretion on our treasury bonds of $83,921.27. So our total net income from these investments is for the quarter $956,894. Our yield to maturity, which is our average yield for the 3 months ending December 31st, is 4.468%. Compared to 5.134 for the year ended September 30th, 2024. That's about, our asset allocation down there at the bottom is we have 5.65% in our bank deposits. We have the majority of our investments, 70.92% in our local government investment pools and 23.43% in U.S. Treasury bonds.
Robert, what is the rate that we get on the sweep in our account?
It's right around probably like 4.23.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty close to the, actually, it's right here, the 5.65. At this point in time, it was 5.65. It's gone down since then because the rates have gone down, but the bank deposit, oh wait, that's the allocation. So I can get through it a little bit further. Hold on. Let's see.
That's all right, I just thought you might have it on.
Yeah, I don't have it on that screen, but I think it's about 4 point, I'll get to the site in a little bit and we'll show
Okay, just point it out when you do it. And then
Sure.
just real quick, the total cash value that we have in deposit, that's with tax pool?
So our bank deposits are what we have at Plains Capital, and the LGIP, which is a local government investment pool, is what we have at Texpool.
Right, and that's at, the total amount is 85 million?
So that allocation is, so the 85 million is all of our balances, and then this slide shows 4.8 million is in the bank deposit, 60.375 is in the local government investment pool, and then almost 20 million in treasuries.
Right.
So that's the allocation there, and they're all AAA, except of course the cash. So here's the rate that we get. So it's about at December 2024, it was about 4.47. So as you see, it kind of rose, and now it's kind of on a decline, just depending on the market, the interest rate. So as you see, back in August 2023, it was 5.7, then went to a high of 5.10, then it just goes to 4.47 at the end of December. That's the curve there.
Robert?
Yes.
Sorry, can you just go back to that last
Sure.
slide? The CMT, could you just remind me what that means?
The CMT is a treasury rate.
Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of just mirrors the treasury, the 6-month, the text pool.
Those are T-bills.
Yeah.
And then we have the text pool, blue, right, light blue, that seems to be doing better than us. Why don't we just have our money in the text pool?
The majority of it is in text pool.
Yeah, we have 60 million.
We do lock in the treasuries because we expect that the rates are going to go down. On a rising economy, you don't want to lock in treasuries because then it'll continue to rise. But on a decline, you do want to lock some of those rates in because then you're on a decline and you'll lock them in at a higher rate. But the majority of our investments, which is about 60.3 million, is in text pool.
And the terms for the T-bills are laddered, but they don't go beyond a year.
Right.
Because by law, we cannot have it longer than a year, right? It has to be like.
Our weighted average, like, you can have some that are longer, but the weighted average
Yeah,
cannot be
I
greater than a year.
don't think it's statutory, but I think financially, the state doesn't recommend that you go longer than a year because of changes in the rates and such.
So, and then, of course, we do get a really good rate in our sweep at Plains Capital. So even the 4.8 gets very close to what our text pool rate is.
And so if I may say, the Federal Reserve met yesterday and today, and they came out at a little bit after 1 o'clock our time and said that they're holding interest rates steady for the next many, many months. Our maturities have increased from 21-day maturity to 107-day maturity, which is wisdom. You want to lock in a longer maturity if rates are stable and threatening to come down. So just looking at this, you guys are all doing very well over there, and I thank you, Robert.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So just to close out, we do have 4.8. The majority of that is in AAA deposits, and then of course the demand deposits are secured by collateral. So it's collateralized by the bank's securities. And that's the last slide. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Item 8C, presentation by Schneider Electric on potential future energy savings.
Good evening, Commissioners. We have Aaron Garcia and Ryan Wonder from Aaron Schneider. They're going to do a presentation on future savings for the city.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here today. My name is Aaron Garcia, and with me is Ryan Wonder. I'm the account executive for Schneider Electric that works the South Texas region for our company, and Ryan's our project development engineer. And the city's we've been in partnership with the city. Most of you may not know this, but we've been in partnership with the city for the last 15 plus years, and also with the airport. We did a couple of projects over the last 15 years that brought utility savings to the city, and what we are going to be presenting today is another project that addresses deferred maintenance throughout the city. And what we're going to show you today is how utility savings could help fund these projects. And we're going to be talking about some of the challenges that you have throughout the city, the project opportunities, and the financial overview and the proven performance. When we looked at this project with Mr. Torres and his staff, we talked about several goals that we wanted to address throughout the city. And some of them were to be able to create a capital asset plan was one of the items that we also looked at for the city. We're going to table that for now until maybe in the future. So that's not part of this project, but that was one of the things that we looked at. Another item, goal that we had was to maximize the utility savings to help fund and offset any of your deferred maintenance projects. Also to help significantly reduce deferred maintenance and operational cost, and to help modernize the buildings. Also to develop a solution that demonstrates wise stewardship throughout the city, and also to provide a better quality of life for the city residents. So at this time, I'm going to let Ryan, project development engineer, talk about some of the deferred maintenance that's needed.
All right, thank you, Aaron. On this slide here, we've got the HVAC equipment. That's really, I would consider, the highest need. A lot of this equipment is 20 years old. We've got some pictures here of equipment, even from this building, 2004 rooftop units. We've got a picture of a boiler that's quite old at the community center. And then the police station building, that building seems like it's a brand new building for the city, but it's actually over 15 years old now. So equipment there is at the end of life as well. So air conditioning equipment is a top priority, and it does bring good energy savings to these projects. Okay,
Excuse me, Aaron, on that previous slide, we had the AC units. Are any of those units that were previously replaced with your project you did before?
I don't think so, because the project before was like 15 plus years ago.
But we did some AC units. I just don't remember which ones they were.
The last project that we did that had any HVAC that I'm aware of was over 15 years ago. So that's everything that we looked at. I mean, we looked at your buildings several months back. Now, there might have been an emergency change out, if anything, that could have happened. But the projects before were pretty.
Okay, I know for sure you didn't do anything to the police because it never had anything done to it since it was built, so.
Chris is saying that.
No? Okay.
Okay. This next slide here, we've got a picture of some of the electrical infrastructure at the Lawn C Hill building. We've got some solar panels there and the equipment there on the ground behind the building. And to the best we can tell, this equipment is not functional. Furthermore, the roof on this building is at the end of life, and we've got some pictures of that here later. So we want to take a look at repurposing this equipment, getting it working again. It represents a significant complication when it comes to actually re-roofing the building as well.
So if I hear you right, the solar panels are not functioning?
That's the way it appears right now. That's correct.
Okay, do we have a clue how long they haven't been functioning?
I looked at the utility bills going back for a year. I would say at least that much.
Okay, and those units are roughly 17 years old, if my memory's correct.
I'm not certain. I would imagine that's probably correct. I had to look into that.
Yeah, they're about that old.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
When did the city find out that those things weren't working?
I just found out right now that they weren't working. Nobody said anything that they weren't.
So, I know that there's like an analysis that you would do to determine the usage that building has, and then it'd be offset by the energy that those solar panels were to bring in if they were operational. Would those solar panels completely cover all the energy needs of that building if they were working?
No.
How much? 50% of the usage?
I think that's probably a pretty good guess. I want to say based on the size of the panels and the area that's covered on the roof, it's probably on the order of like 20 to 50 kW. So this is quite a bit larger than something you'd see on a residential home that might be 10 kW. But this is not like a utility grade multi-megawatt PV installation.
This is a ridiculous question, but who pays the power bill?
The electricity?
Yeah, who pays our power bill?
The city does.
No, I get that, but who, like, which department? Is it finance
Oh,
department?
finance, yeah.
So
And we,
this is, go ahead.
just to, for purposes, our electric provider is TXU. And then, when we installed those solar panels, they weren't intended to run the entire building. The generator that was installed, I think, last year is intended to supply entire power to that building. We haven't had to use it because it's relatively new. We haven't had an incident, but it's there, available for use.
Okay. This next slide we're going to here, if I can operate this remote, we've got some pictures of the lighting in several of the buildings, including the Casa de Amistad, the Community Center, Lonsey Hill, and then the picture of the library there in the lower left. And you know, we look at this room, it's been retrofit to LED lights, but for the most part, most of the city lights are fluorescent lighting, substantially T8 lighting with ballasts. And so this is the number one thing that's going to bring the savings to the project. And of course, it has a lot of other benefits. It greatly enhances the aesthetics and the light quality in the buildings. And so this is a key part of any project that we do. It brings a lot of energy savings and typically a shorter payback. There'll also be a utility rebate with AEP. So this is something that's a key part of every project that we do. This next slide, we're looking at building envelope, and that can include anything on the perimeter of the building. Typically it includes windows and roofing. And so several of the buildings, we talked about Lonsey Hill, it's a modified roof, and you can see there's very little left of the aggregate that's on that roof for UV protection. And then even this roof here on top of this building is, I would say, past its expected service life. So there's several needs there. I also have a picture of the Casa del Sol, but I understand that's actually underway. So things are happening there, and that's good. And then we've got a picture of the bottom right there for single pane windows at the public library. Anytime we see single pane windows, it's something that we look at. There's significant energy efficiency improvements there. That can also be a pretty significant facelift for a building to get new modern commercial glass. Aaron talked just quickly about capital asset planning. That's something else we look at. It's just a way for the city to inventory equipment. It's designed around the HVAC equipment so that it can be inventoried, and the budgets can be created for when that equipment's scheduled to be replaced. It's a way for the city to manage equipment. It could be used for fleet maintenance and anything else, but initially it would be designed for HVAC equipment. Resource advisor is something that we include in all of our projects. It's a way for the city to follow and maintain visibility into the utilities. So tracked guaranteed energy savings are part of all of our projects. We leverage the energy savings to help pay for the project, and this is how we track it. And so the city would have access to this to show how those electric bills, natural gas bills, all those things are being reduced, and that money is being used to pay for the project. This slide, we've got a quick breakdown of the utilities. You can see in that pie chart the different buildings that we looked at, and that police municipal courts building, despite not being the biggest building, it's a significant part of that utility spend, more than it probably should be. It kind of stands out in that bar graph at the top right too, as far as the energy usage. We measure that in kBTUs per square foot. So the goal here is to carve out some of those energy savings to actually save on that bill to AEP, and then use those funds to help pay for this project. And we're targeting around $100,000 a year in savings. That would be about 23% of that utility spend for these buildings.
Would you say, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Would you say that the police building, is it mostly because of the AC units?
So that building has rooftop units, rooftop air conditioning equipment, but
I'm sorry, which building did you say?
The police department.
I apologize, thank you.
the equipment inside the building, so it's not a very simple system. It doesn't just come down to diffusers and serve like a normal air conditioning unit was. It comes down to VAV boxes. And so one unit will come down and serve 4 or 5 or maybe 8 individual boxes. And they have dampers in them and electric heating coils. And so it's a complicated system. And what you end up there after this amount of time is the controls are not really, one's not talking to the other. So you may have some parts of the building that are actually in heating, some in cooling, and so the control is really kind of all over the map there. You have a system that can fight itself with heating and cooling. And so I think that's a big part of why you see that building. It also has longer run hours, but more than that, it's those VAV boxes, I think, that are causing a big problem.
Thank you.
This is kind of a good summary of the project. We're seeing about a $3 million project. This is very high level and preliminary, but about $3 million that would be paid for with savings. That would include, of course, the lighting, the key part for savings, but also a certain amount of controls. We talked about those controls at that police building being kind of out of whack. And then as much air conditioning equipment replacement as possible. But air conditioning equipment is not a short payback item. It does bring savings, but it's not a short payback item. So we have a second option there that would come in and take care of more, if not all, of those air conditioning needs. And there, the savings would pay for about 33 cents on the dollar on a project like that. And then we talk about O&M savings, operations and maintenance savings. That's a key part of every project we do also. As an example, like for the lighting, when we come in and replace the fluorescent lighting, we get rid of the glass tubes, we get rid of the ballasts. That's something that is not going to have to be maintained for the foreseeable future. So the cost of those ballasts and those tubes is a savings. And so that's something we want to make sure we include in this project because it is a benefit. We've got a short list of buildings here and a list of the targeted scope of work. Lighting, of course, would be across the board. BAS is building automation system. That's those controls for the air conditioning equipment. And then HVAC is a need for most of the buildings as well. I'm going to turn it back over to Aaron to talk just a little bit more.
Thank you, Ryan. So the project that we're proposing today and explaining is the same type of projects that we did in the past. And as Ryan mentioned, what we do is we come in, we develop the projects. Right now, this is a very high-level budgetary exercise to kind of get you to understand what your needs are and what those costs might be in the future. Once we get into the next phase, if the city decides to move forward, then that's when we actually do the design. And when I say design, it's like bringing in the engineer to start the design, and then once we have the design and full scope of work, we're able to move forward with bidding out the project and coming up with the turnkey cost for that. The way our program works is that we do the design, and we also guarantee that the project will be funded if you choose to do a self-funded project, or if it's not a self-funded project, and let's say we're offsetting the cost of the project, which would have been like option 2, the $10 million, you're looking at some of the project costs being paid for and guaranteed by us that it's going to be covered. So this next page that I want to talk about is some of our projects that we've done in the local area as well as throughout Texas. We've got over 1,000 projects nationwide. We've got 55 plus clients that have done multiple phase projects with us. We have offices throughout Texas and locally in FAR is our local office. We've got, if you look down on the right side, the projects that we've done, we have the City of Harlingen, the two projects that we did totaled up to close to $2 million, but we were generating about $128,000 a year in savings. I remember when Dan Serna was here at that time, he said that the project paid for itself in the first 8 years, that the city had recouped the return on investment. I think the city had went out for a loan. Gabe, you might be able to answer this, but to borrow the money for that first project. And Dan had mentioned that within the first 8 years that the project had already paid for itself. Valley International Airport, we did multiple phases there as well. So as I mentioned earlier, today is just the presentation to high level, what we call a business case presentation to talk about what your needs are, what the project would look like. If the city decided to bring us back in the next meeting or sometime in the near future, we would get into the design phase, and what we've proposed is a $57,000 initial fee to get into the design. So that $57,000 would get us started, and that would be the only commitment that the city would have at that point. So then we get into a 30, 60, and 90% design. So we come back at 30%. We might have 10 different things that the city needs to do at that time. But then Chris and his team will be able to identify and prioritize if they want to do all 10, or let's reduce it down to like 7 scope items, or maybe even 5 scope items. And then when we get to the 60%, the same thing. We're working with the city in collaboration to identify the priority of what you really need to do. So we'll reduce it, and then we finally get to the 90% when we'll come back with the full turnkey construction project and guaranteed savings on what that savings will be for that project. So at this stage, you know, the $3 million budget, the $10 million, they're very high level. We don't know until we get into the next phase, which is the design. And then the construction completion time it could take us anywhere from 8 to 12 months to complete. So at this time, I'll open it up to any questions that y'all might have.
Can I get a copy of this, please, of the PowerPoint, and any other data you guys have? I presume you would have to have almost like an Excel spreadsheet with a breakdown of how long it would take us to cover, to recoup all our costs, 5 years, 10 years, all that stuff, right?
That's in the next phase. When we get into more detail like that, what the option one, the $3 million guarantee project, that I think we had estimated it would recoup within 20 years. So if you had borrowed $3 million to do that project, within the 20 years, if you had done a loan for 20 years, we're estimating that the guarantee will pay for the debt service over that 20-year period.
At which point, it's time to redo the whole thing again.
Well, usually the life of equipment is about 20 years, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's where we're at, like from our first phase, it was close to 20 years ago, so equipment's already at its end of life. Everything we're talking about is at its end of life and needs to be addressed.
And just to make sure I understand, the $3 million or the $10 million does not cover replacing the roofs, or does it?
I don't believe so.
This is just replacing light bulbs for $3 million.
$3 million would be the lighting, the controls, and then some minimal amount of air conditioning equipment. But the $10 million would be a more comprehensive project that would be a lot of HVAC and perhaps some roofing as well. Maybe the highest needs roofing areas.
Okay.
Yeah, but the $3 million, we might be able to package in some air conditioning units, but we don't know until we get into that next phase. But right now, we're estimating lighting and control system to control all the air conditioning. And then,
When you say control system, you're talking, to dumb it down for me, I'm not the smartest guy in this room, but like a Nest, right? Like the Nest type. That's what you mean by control?
yeah, building automation system where it can be controlled through scheduling, and your staff would have control of it through either an iPad, their computer. There's all kinds of scheduling that can be done to control it better. Because a lot of the buildings that we come across have single type thermostats, or the thermostats that they had before were just old school. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much.
And I would like to add that Schneider is a quality act, a class act. Their management at top level, their finances, they're a wonderful company.
Thank you, Mr. Mesmar.
You mentioned your local office is in FAR?
Yes, sir.
Where's your home office?
It's in Dallas.
What's the name of the parent company?
Schneider Electric.
Stall?
Buildings America.
What's it called?
I think it might go by Schneider Electric Buildings America if you researched like the corporate office. It's in France. We're a global company. We're in 110 countries all over the world. and we're a $38 billion company as well.
Other than what other local businesses are you working with? School districts, cities in the valley?
Yeah, so we've done Brownsville ISD. We've done a similar project like this for Brownsville ISD. We've done Weslaco, we've done McAllen, we've done on the water side of the business, which we also do in this same type of program. We've done City of Alamo, City of Raymondville, City of Lyford. Trying to think, Mercedes was done many, many years ago before I was here, but.
But you worked with Harlingen 15 years ago or so?
Yes. I've been only with the company for 14 years, so right before I started was whenever these projects that Harlingen had done. And then the airport was done, the last project that we've done like 4 projects, maybe 5 there, and the last one was done maybe about 5 years ago there at the airport.
Thanks so much.
Great info.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have item D, presentation by Roxanne Moore, President, and Amanda Lucio, Ex-Officio, on the 2025 Kid Fit event.
Hello, how are y'all?
Very well.
Nice to hear. Well, thank you for having the Junior League of Harlingen here today. My name is Roxanna Moore, and this is Amanda Lucio. We both have the distinct honor of representing the hardworking women of the Junior League of Harlingen. I should have figured this out first. There we go. Everything that we do in Junior League is anchored in our mission, and that's to advance women's leadership for meaningful community impact through volunteer action, collaboration, and training.
Awesome. So just a little bit about us. So here in Harlingen, we were established in 1947 as the Junior Service League, and then we became the Junior League of Harlingen in 1985. So you're probably most familiar with like our Kid Fit event, and then previously Rio Fest was actually founded by Junior League as well. And so we have a very impactful history here in the community with Harlingen and the surrounding area, and partnering here with the city.
So what is it that we do? We do it all. We have several initiatives for our community impact. One of them is GEMS. It's a partnership with HCISD to mentor 8th grade girls. We also have TLC, our Teen Leadership Conference, which is an opportunity to guide our high school girls in our community. We also give out scholarships to deserving young women in our community. We host Onboard, which is training on civic engagement. We are also renovating the children's space at the Harlingen Public Library. And of course, thank you for always partnering with us in those initiatives as well. And lastly, in between all of our major initiatives, we do smaller done-in-a-days to support various needs in our community, like donation drives, building wheelchair ramps, and helping at Loaves and Fishes.
And what we're here to talk about is our Kid Fit event, which actually stemmed off of our Kids in the Kitchen, which is a national initiative to teach children how to make and how to make healthy snacks and make healthier choices in their lives. And so Kid Fit was founded off of those principles.
So Kid Fit through the years, it started in 2012 with an idea on a napkin after an AJLI conference from Dr. Bonnie and Natalie Liao. They are pictured here at the very first Kid Fit over on the left-hand side of that presentation. Since then, we have brought our mission to life every year by training women to continue this leadership initiative. This year, we have Dr. Christina Bolton and Mrs. Cassie Schneider at the helm of Kid Fit, and is shaping out to be another fantastic event for our community. Our consistency to develop and bring a program to life for an entire community year after year is a true testament of our dedication and service to our community on behalf of the women of the Junior League of Harlingen.
So this event actually last year won an international award. I'm not sure if y'all were aware. And so we had to do a very lengthy application process, submit an executive summary, We spoke to its history, when it was founded, how much it's grown, and the rationale behind the event itself. And so, as many of you all are aware, we have a large economically disadvantaged population in the surrounding areas, and also a high number of diabetic children and families in the area. And so this event was actually created to target and address that in our community. And so this event is completely free for the community. There is no fee to participate or to enjoy it. And we also bring in agencies that provide essential services to our community. And so it's a way of ensuring that the resources that are available, that everyone's having access to them. And so this targets kids to promote well-roundedness in their health, right? So fit mind, fit body, and fit lifestyle. And so there's different activities and engagements for the kids at the event. So this event is put on in partnership with the city, as well as with the school district and other nonprofit organizations, and is put on by all women. So our whole organization, every single one of us is out there volunteering to make this event happen. There's no one paid, it's all volunteer efforts. So this is our largest community impact project, which I believe is one of the reasons why we were recognized for this award. It draws over 500 children and families each year, and it continues to grow year after year. I mean, within not even the first week of posting registration, our first 300 spots for the run, for the free t-shirt was already filled. So we appreciate the city's continued support on this, and yeah, that's all I got.
Well, thank you once again for your continued support. Like Amanda said, your gracious partnership with us, not just with KidFit, but with like the library and everything else, is just, it's a good feeling that we have your support. And together we can continue building our community. And like Amanda said, we're all volunteers. We don't get paid for this. Everything is during our, free time that we have, right? But we enjoy doing it. We look forward to seeing every single one of you at KidFit for the city proclamation. We're super excited about that. And we hope that you've signed up your kids as well. If you haven't, let us know. We can get you the registration link so they can enjoy in on the fun. Everyone is welcome. Like Amanda said, it is free for everybody and their families. So bring everybody that you know, your kids, the tios, the tias, los vecinos, everybody. They're all invited. So thank you all so much.
And I know, Danielle, you've been out to KidFit before, and that was kind of your first run-in with Junior League and seeing the programming that we do.
It was fantastic. You guys always do top-notch work, so thank you so much for everything y'all do. However we can support you, we'll definitely do it. I know definitely on the end of this, on this stage over here, we got a guy that's definitely going to support everything you do with his wife right over there. But thank you so much for all the work you guys do.
Yes, and it's on April 5th. I don't know if you mentioned that. It is on April 5th.
If you guys can send us the contact information, I would love it to see if our staff can also promote y'all's event and push it out there, because like you said, Healthy Kids is fantastic for everyone, right? So thank you.
Where?
Launcy Hill. At Launcy Hill on April 5th. The run starts at 8. Run starts at 9.
Thank you.
We'll be there. I'm like, we'll be there.
A little later, right? But yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you to all of you, and thank you to your whole staff and team. I mean, it's a great organization. I know what you're doing at the library, because of Rennie and his wife. I went over when they kicked that off, and we appreciate everything y'all do. So keep it up. Great brief.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have item 9, public hearings. At this time, the mayor will invite members of the public who have filled out the public hearing and the citizen communication form to address each item listed in this section. Please limit your comments to the topic of that public hearing. If more than one public hearing is being held, you will be allowed to speak during each topic, provided you have filled out the public hearing and citizen communication form for the appropriate topic. If you are signed up for 2 or more public hearings, you will be limited to 5 minutes for all topics. Mayor Pro Tem, we had one submission for public hearings for item 9D. So we'll call him up once we're on that item.
Is Mr. Petty here? Sir, why don't you come on, and we'll jump down to you. Public hearings, we'll open up a public hearing for a special use permit to allow a storage building greater than 144 square feet in residential single-family R1 district located at 2220 East Crockett Street, bearing a legal description of Lot 9, Block 2, Pendleton subdivision, applicant James Petty.
Yes, sir. I'm requesting a permit for you to approve the storage building so I can clean up my yard and clean up the neighborhood and try to make Harlingen more beautiful around my area. I have a lot of stuff to put in there. I'm retired and I have a lot of fishing equipment, boats, and all kinds of stuff. And I have hurricane readiness materials that I need to put in it. And during our hurricane events, we have to evacuate. I have vacation property at Port Isabel that I have to move out of the area at Long Island on my property to store it inland, and I need to store that in the little 144 square building. You can't get hardly anything in it. So thank you for considering that. I think that the code enforcement department had given y'all other stuff on it, so thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.
It's been a long process.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? If not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on item 9D. Public hearing for item 9A, public hearing for a rezoning request from residential single-family R1 district to residential duplex R2 for a property located at 101 West Pierce Avenue, bearing a legal description of Lot 6, Block 139, Harlingen Original Town Site, applicant Reynaldo del Taro. Having no one here to speak for or against, we will close the public hearing on 9A. 9B, open a public hearing for a special use permit to allow alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption of an event center and general retail district for a tract of land bearing a legal description of 5.57 acres out of 15.57 acres out of Block 185 San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the east side of South Ed Carey Drive, approximately 974 feet south of South Expressway 83 Frontage Road, applicant RGV Wine Country. Having no one here to speak for or against this item, we will close the public hearing. Public hearing for item 9C for a special use permit to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption in a general retail district located at 1301 North 77 Sunshine Strip, bearing a legal description of Block 5 in the north part of Block 6 Brown subdivision, applicant Tim Llaoa. Again, having no one to speak for or against, we will close the public hearing on 9C. Item 9E, public hearing for open a public hearing for a rezoning request from residential single-family R1 district to residential duplex R2 district for a property located at 2013 West LaSalle Avenue, bearing a legal description of Lot 40, Block 1, Wallace's Home Lawn subdivision, applicant Claudio Cordova. And again, having no one to speak for or against, we will close the public hearing on item 9E.
Okay, moving on to item 10, action items. City Commission will discuss, consider, and take any action deemed necessary on items listed in this section, including the adoption of a resolution or an ordinance. Item 10A, consideration and possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading for a rezoning request from residential single-family district to residential duplex district for a property located at 101 West Pierce Avenue, bearing a legal description of Lot 6, Block 139, Harlingen Original Town Site, applicant Reynaldo del Toro, Planning and Development.
Mr. Sussy, you read the ordinance?
Yeah, but we've lost a quorum.
That has stepped out.
Yeah, so we're going to have to, we can't take any action until we can discuss things, we can't take any action, so.
Let's all look at him while he walks.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, again, sir, if you'd read the ordinance.
All right, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen, rezoning from residential single-family R District to residential duplex R2 district for a property located at 101 West Pierce, bearing a legal description of Lot 6, Block 139, Harlingen Original Township Subdivision.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Make motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Daniel, second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 10D, consideration and possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading for a special use permit, SUP, to allow alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption at an event center in a general retail district for a tract of land bearing a legal description of 5.57 acres out of 15.57 acres out of Block 185 San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the east side of South Ed Carey Drive, approximately 974 feet south of South Expressway 83, Frontage Road, applicant RGV Wine Country, care of Rodrigo Rubiano.
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, ordinance number 16-8 of the City of Harlingen, to issue a special use permit, SUP, to RGV Wine Country LLC to allow an alcoholic beverage for on-site consumption at an event center in a general retail GR district for a tract of land bearing a legal description of 5.57 acres out of 15.57 acres out of Block 185 San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the east side of South Ed Carey Drive, approximately 974 feet south of Southwest Expressway 83 Frontage Road.
And Mesmer has a couple of questions. Is there an existing building at this site?
Currently, there's not. The property is vacant. This is the first step in the process of what the applicant wants to do. So if this does get approved tonight and on final reading, the applicant will have to subdivide the property prior to building anything on the property.
And so then if we approve this, then they will need TABC approval.
Correct. They are in the process of getting all those approvals. Part of the conditions of the approval of the SUP is that they have to obtain and maintain all of their state and city permits.
Okay, thank you.
Was there any opposition to this?
To this item, no, there was not.
Well, it's because the diagram got brought up. What is that thing right in the middle? Is that supposed to be like a code?
So it's like a little patio garden area in the back.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lopez, second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item C, consideration and possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading for a special use permit, SUP, to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages for an on-site consumption in a general retail district located at 1301 North 77 Sunshine Strip, bearing a legal description of Block 5 and the north part of Block 6, Brown Subdivision, applicant Team Llaoa.
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen, a special use permit issued to Tim Llaoa to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption in a general retail GR district located at 1301 North 77 Sunshine Strip, bearing a legal description of Block 5 in the north part of Block 6, Brown Subdivision.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Lopez, second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item D, consideration and possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading for a special use permit, SUP, to allow a storage building greater than 144 square feet in a residential single-family district located at 2220 East Crockett Street, bearing a legal description of Lot 9, Block 2, Pendleton Subdivision, applicant James Petty.
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen, a special use permit issued to James Petty to allow a storage building greater than 144 square feet in a residential single-family R1 district located at 22220 East Crockett, bearing a legal description of Lot 9, Block 2, Pendleton Subdivision, providing for publication and the ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
And Mesmer has a question before we vote. So what size is he looking at, and will this be a forever storage building?
He's looking at a 16 by 24, and it will be a permanent storage on the property. The reason it's coming to public hearings is because we did receive written opposition within 10 days of the notice going out. Based off of that, by law, we do have to bring public hearings to you all for final decision on storage sheds.
Okay, and how many people opposed, please?
Only one.
Okay.
Will it have any impact on any flooding issues?
No, he'll have to turn in a building permit with all the windstorm engineering and everything that's required, so it will be reviewed to make sure that it is in compliance with our codes and our ordinances.
So from the backup that you included, it seems to be one of those pre-manufactured, like, it's the blue one, right? The blue shed that you guys
Yes,
included?
however, he's actually gonna build it himself.
And so, what you said earlier, like, you have to have the windstorm engineering and all that. Same thing we do for like carports and all.
Correct. It'll have to meet the anchoring and all the requirements.
So if you buy it from Home Depot or the place over there by the Harlingen Soccer Complex, right, and you move it, you still have to do that.
Correct. And the company itself, if you're buying it pre-made, is supposed to provide you with engineered plans. You may have to pay for it, but they are supposed to provide you with the plans.
I know that's required because it's larger than 12 by 12?
Correct.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have to do any of
If
that.
it was 12 by 12 or less, he wouldn't have to go through this process.
But that 12 by 12, what, that's 144?
144 square feet.
But isn't that exactly where he's at?
He's at a 16 by 24.
No, it's bigger.
It's
This
bigger.
one says 144 square feet on D.
Of
Greater
storage
than
building greater than.
It's
Greater than, I apologize. Thank you, good catch. Yeah, I made my motion to
We have a
approve.
motion by Commissioner Lopez, a second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay. Item E, consideration and possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading for a rezoning from residential single-family district to residential duplex district for a property located at 2013 West LaSalle Avenue, bearing a legal description of Lot 40, Block 1, Wallace's Home Lawn Subdivision, applicant Claudio Cordova, care of Maya Guadalupe Chavez.
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen, rezoning from residential single-family R1 district to residential duplex R2 district for a property located at 2013 West LaSalle Avenue, bearing a legal description of Lot 40, Block 1, Wallace's Home Lawn Subdivision.
So a side note on this one, we did receive opposition for this particular rezoning. The percentage of opposition is 39.94, which triggers a supermajority vote.
So, what are they looking? They're looking to build an apartment on the land?
So currently, there is a structure, a 400 square foot structure on the property. They are asking to rezone it to duplex. The applicant is not sure if they will actually convert it into a duplex or leave it as is. The ultimate goal is to have that property as rental income.
Okay, and this, looking at the map, this is a narrow lot.
Correct. So some of the concerns through the opposition, which we had 15 signatures, are increased traffic. There are issues with that particular area. We have gotten reports in the opposition of junked vehicles. Code is looking into that, so they will be addressing any issues and violations that they do find. I will note the front portion along Rangerville Road is commercial. The property right here is single-family residential. Here is a picture of the property with the structure on it right now. One of the big concerns was also aesthetics, how it's going to look, what's going to be allowed, things of that sort. Here is the petition as well. And again, it is at 39.94% in opposition.
Frank, this is your district. What do you want to do?
Yes, I know. Thank you. What is he trying to build? Does he know?
He's unsure. Based off the conversations we've had with him and his presentation to the Planning and Zoning Commission last week, he's not sure yet what he wants to do. He's not sure if he wants to create a duplex or if he wants to leave it as is. He's still weighing out his options.
He's weighing out his options, and we have a good majority of people that don't want it.
Correct.
The person who's trying to do it, Frank, he's here. If you want to ask him any questions.
Come on up, sir.
Hello, Claudio Cordova here. Just basically what I'm trying to do is trying to build another unit there. I do have the space for it in the front. And I basically submitted the application to see if I have the potential to build another structure there. I do have a blueprint. I have a house that I did do the blueprint of. I was potentially gonna build that house there, but I'm still kind of debating if I should pull the trigger on that or if not.
This is where I have an issue. When you have your neighbors that don't want it, there's a reason behind it.
Well,
okay, and unfortunately, I'm sure no one's here, all right? But they did take the time to sign off on this, so that's something that I have to take into consideration. And the fact that you're not unsure as to what you want to build, that also puts a bigger question mark.
Yeah.
So I personally, I'm going to side with these people here that say negative. I don't know about my fellow commissioners, but that's my stand.
Well, we have to have a supermajority. Is a supermajority of the whole commission or everyone that's present?
It would be 5 votes.
So we have the 5. So the moment that Frank votes no, we fail.
It failed, yeah.
Okay. Well, the issue fails. There we go.
So is there a motion?
It's going to fail automatically, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
we
but
need
he
5.
still needs a motion.
Okay. Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have no second. Motion dies.
Item F, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading, amending the Harlingen Code of Ordinances, Chapter 111, zoning, Article 17, downtown district overlay, Section 111 through 505, regarding the issuance of special use permits. This item was requested by Commissioner Reni Perez and Commissioner Daniel Lopez.
I think this issue needs to be tabled anyways for procedural reasons. Apparently it has to go before planning and zoning first.
Right.
So, if I may, the actual process, it's got to go to downtown board first for recommendation. Once they recommend whatever changes they would like, it comes to planning and zoning. P and Z has to advertise, give people ample notice before it comes to city commission for approval.
Well, that's the thing. I wanted to, because I don't know if, the whole point about this is what I want to do is I want to get rid of some of the red tape. And I see on this one, for, correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone wants to get an SUP, what's the normal process?
So they'll have to speak to downtown district first.
No, like just in general,
Oh,
like
just in
citywide.
general, they'll come to us, we walk them through the process, we have to notify property owners within 200 feet, run an ad in the newspaper, and then we go through the process.
And then after that, what happens? It goes to P and Z?
It's got to go to P and Z, if it's approved, it goes to city commission twice.
Okay, so see, this whole point right here where it has to go to the downtown district, this is what I'm trying to eliminate, because I wanted to just make it a little bit easier. I know downtown, your district, Daniel, is a downtown that we've struggled to kind of develop, and I think this just adds another layer and, to the process. And what I'm trying to do is just cut some red tape, make anybody who wants to build a business or do something there, doesn't have to go through that extra step of having to go to the downtown district. It'll just do the same process as everyone else. It'll go to you guys, and then it'll go to P&Z, and then it'll come to us. So basically, I'm just trying to cut the red tape. So I don't understand why we would have to go to downtown district. Don't we?
It's part of the ordinance, right?
Correct, it is part of the ordinance, section 111-505.
So that would have to be amended out as part of the process.
So, but what if because this is taking away a power from the downtown district, so what if they say no?
It's a recommendation.
It would be a recommendation.
Okay.
They would
So
recommend no.
They would recommend to the planning and zoning board, planning and zoning board recommends to you all. At the end of the day, you all have the final decision on whether yes or no.
Now, what I would recommend, though, is that we still just take a vote to direct staff to start the process to do this.
Yeah, to present it to them for
Yeah,
their
yeah,
consideration.
yeah,
No, I'll make that vote. I'll make that motion.
Wait. But what I'm hearing is it should go to the downtown improvement district first. Why would we tell the downtown improvement district to look at this if that's already the process?
Commissioner, I think the commission wants to amend the ordinance to remove that section. And so that would be.
Well, then by neutering the downtown improvement district, let's just get rid of the downtown improvement district.
Well, it's not, we're not neutering them, we're just giving them the same playing field as everybody else. We're trying to get rid of some of the red tape. Because I know you're a big fan of getting rid of some red tape, Mike, and this is what this does, because if you want someone that wants to come in and develop, one of the things they've said in the past about Harlingen is that it's too hard to do business here. It's too hard to go through this process and this process and this process. And you're adding, by having to get the downtown district on there, you're adding another couple of weeks to the process. And when you're building development, time is money. And it's just going to follow the same process as everyone else. I don't see the downtown district should be any special than say your district in District 3 or my district in District 5. It should be the same process that every other person in the city of Harlingen has to go through, which would be P&Z and then us. Because according to, from what I'm reading, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the, again, I may be wrong about this, but right now, the way the ordinance set up right now is that if it does, in order for it to come to us, it has to get approval from the downtown district and the city commission?
Well, this is a proposed ordinance change in the procedure for getting special use
Yes.
permits, right? And all you're doing right now is just moving to refer it to the downtown
Yes,
district.
yeah, that's what-
That's all you're doing. It would go through the district, it would go to P&Z, and then it would come back to the commission with the recommendation. So you're just moving to follow the same procedure you have.
Okay, so we're not really changing anything right now, Mike. We're just basically saying here, this is
Take a
something
look
that,
at it.
yeah, here's this, take a look at it. This is something that we're interested in doing. We want to get rid of some of the red tape, and then they'll give their recommendation, and then it'll go to the P&Z, and then eventually it'll come to us to decide whether we want to keep it harder for people to do business downtown, or we want to make it easier for them.
So Gabe, what is the purpose of the downtown improvement district?
Well, actually, it's several things they're tasked with. One is to assess the fee that they collect for grants they provide. They provide 3 grants for security, signs, and storefronts. And so they administer that. The other is to consider all changes for changing your storefront, because all color schemes have to be approved by the downtown board. They also approve bars when they come down to the DID as part of the ordinance. And that's basically it.
So it's to create a uniform district in which the landowners are in agreement with the other landowners to present a somewhat uniform product.
Well, the landowners will still get a say, because like whenever there's a special use permit, we do have to send out the notices, correct?
Correct.
Just like we did right now, Mike. You just voted on it right now. These people saw that the change was going to come in. They did their petition. It came up. It's the same process that will be available to the landowners of the Downtown Improvement Board. So this is just literally saving developers time and money, and just shortening the process. So we're not taking any voice away from the downtown district. They'll still have the same right as every other resident here in the city of Harlingen.
So before
Then
any
if they have the
business,
same right, why do you have to interfere with their business?
We're not interfering with the business. We're making it easier for people to develop there in downtown district instead of making the process lengthier than it has to be.
So for right now, what we're proposing is a motion to send the recommended ordinance change to the Downtown Improvement District.
Correct.
Which they would vote on and then forward to P&Z for their consideration and then back to us for final.
Correct.
We would have to make the changes to the ordinance first and then present it to the.
But it goes through the downtown.
First, yes.
First.
For a vote. And then from there, it'll go to the P&Z for their vote.
And if they turn it down, it's done, right?
No.
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 It can still continue on with that recommendation that they.
We will have the final
it not
say.
be approved.
ultimately, City Commission has the final decision. So if Planning and Zoning denies it, the meeting minutes you'll get will reflect that denial. Ultimately, any businesses coming into the downtown district have to check in with the downtown district office anyway. Usually what'll happen is downtown district will send us an approval letter saying this business has been approved, either for signage or whatever it may be. They still have to come get a building permit through us anyways. It's just gonna shorten the length of time for SUPs. Because it is pretty lengthy in the downtown district since they have to get their approval first before they even come to P&Z.
It's about saving time. Time is money. Has to speak to any developer.
All right, so can I get a motion on what we're gonna do with this?
I already made the motion to kick it down to DID to start the process. I would also, to start the process. That's my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Lopez, a second by Commissioner Perez to forward this to DID to start the process. All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, opposed by Commissioner Morales and Commissioner Mesmar. Motion passes.
While we're on this, I recommend that members of the commission review case number 24-50187 out of the Fifth Circuit. I can have Mark send it to everyone. It's a recent case law, Mike, that came down that was a little startling, that the Fifth Circuit took the position that they did, that potentially overlay districts and the role that the DID is playing in its current iteration may be unconstitutional. It just came down like a month or two ago. So I asked Mark to just send it to everyone, just so everyone can have some pleasure reading, and we can, when this comes back, we can kind of have that bigger discussion.
Thank you. 10G.
Okay, consideration and possible action to select one or multiple projects from consideration under the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Grants Program, Special Projects Department.
Good evening. So this item is being brought to you to help staff get direction. I see you smiling. Direction on the preferred location to, I guess, to submit a park project for this particular grant. It's called the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership, and it's a 50% matching grant. The maximum that we can apply is 15 million, and it's, I mean, frankly, this is probably the largest grant for parks that's available. We would submit to the state, and the state actually is the one that submits our application to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So we provided some locations just to kind of get the conversation going. And ultimately, we're waiting or pending your recommendation.
Roxanna Plaza, that's where we need to put it, 15 million. Bathroom, stage, everything.
Could this be used in multiple parks? Or
No.
is it just one?
Just one location. But you can use it to do renovation, you can do land acquisition, anything that would support recreation, as well as support amenities.
What do you think? We could use this at the soccer complex to finally get the grounds where it needs to be for that to be a functional place.
Yes, and that's why that's recommendation number one. The Harlingen Soccer Complex, you could potentially redevelop it and redesign it, kind of reimagine it, if you will. And, I mean, you have quite a bit of a budget to kind of make it happen.
And repeat that large number for me again?
15 million?
15, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's not the number I heard.
Sorry,
I'm a little more comfortable with 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5, yes.
And we would have to pony up 7.5?
Yes, 50%.
You didn't give us this list, because I didn't see it, did you?
It's right here in the executive summary.
Oh, sure.
1 through 7.
In the executive summary, so I have the Harlingen Soccer Complex, the Hugh Ramsey Nature Park, McKelvey Park, Arroyo Park, Dixieland, Gutierrez Park, and Pendleton Park.
Which one do you think is the best, has the highest chance of getting the money?
I think they all have a really good chance, but the soccer complex, I think it's the one that we have received the most complaints about the current kind of state, and I think it would be, as far as the amount that's available, I think we could potentially turn it around and just create a state-of-the-art facility.
How many soccer fields do we have there?
That I wouldn't know.
10. I think there's 10.
So we have one in the front, which is considered our championship field, and then we have 8. Is that correct? Yeah, 8.
9 total.
9 total.
Total 9, yes. Yeah, so something that we discussed, right, is that if this grant is awarded for that, we could turn the championship field into a turf field, right? And so, because we had looked into that in the past, and that was close to like $900,000 just for that one field, turn it into a turf.
Gabe got that. You got that, right? 900,000?
I think the first question we need to ask ourselves is, best case scenario, we get the $15 million for Pendleton. Is the
We have
commission,
7.5?
does the commission want to spend $7.5 million? Right?
Not
That's the
this
first
commission.
question. Right, or
Not
10
this,
million.
Commissioner, but that's a lot of money that we're gonna have to fork out, and we need a lot of infrastructure across the board.
So what number do you feel comfortable with so that we don't chase our own tails with projects?
Maybe $1.5 million, maybe two, okay, but
So
going after,
full.
but going after 15 million, that means 7.5. So we go after, at two, or anywhere between 1 and 2, we're looking at half of that. Now, I don't know exactly, on this Harlingen soccer complex, sounds great. If we can get not only the grant, but be able to do what? Bring in tourism, bring in those people from the outside outside of Harlingen to come in and have their tournaments here on a regular basis. Now I can see to where we have some retail tax revenues coming in. That's what I would like to see there. But I'm also thinking, you know what? Don't just look at the Harlingen soccer complex, because we can also always do Arroyo or Gutierrez Park. And yes, I am partial to Vestal and most of all, Victor. So those others, you might consider, which one would put us over the threshold to where we do get some funding. But I really don't want to go with the 15 million or anything.
How does it work on do they determine how much they're gonna give us, or do we say, oh, we're only going for like 3?
No, we tell them how
Oh,
much
we
we
tell
need.
them,
Yeah,
okay.
we tell them how much we need, and if, let's say, 15 million is just too out of the question, we could potentially say, well, okay, we're gonna try to come up with a project or scope a project that's gonna be between, I don't know, 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 million total. So we can, and we understand that, that we're gonna be doing 50% of that.
And Chris, do we know like how much it would cost more or less for the sports complex, like soccer complex, like how much would it cost to be able to get it to, like you said, like to the needs, to address a lot of the needs that or the demands that we get?
The last number that I had a conversation with the previous Parks Director was that it was going to take $2.5 million to do that.
Okay. So then we go for like, say, 3 million, or, we would do 1.5 million match it, and we could do pretty good with that soccer. Because at the same time with the soccer, if we can get more, the soccer in better shape, that could bring in more tournaments equals more economic benefit. So I think, I agree with the Harlingen Soccer Complex, even though Dixieland looks pretty nice, but I agree with the Harlingen Soccer. I think we should at least go for like 3.
So Gabe, let's talk money. Let's say we go 4 and the state gives us 2 million and we have to pony up 2. Where do we get 2 million from?
The only place we can get that kind of money for capital improvements is from the fund balance.
Okay, so you're not leaning towards taking out COs or a 5 or a 10-year bond.
I don't know that the commission would, there's something the commission wants to do, I'd certainly recommend it. The other.
Something like that, we have to go for an election though, right?
No, not for CO. The other place where we can probably get it from might be the 4B, because they have, where's Robert? What is their fund balance right now?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but it is.
It's healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy because they had some savings on the previous projects that they had planned, and so they do have a healthy fund balance.
And I think the soccer complex gets us the most bang for the buck, bringing people in from Cameron County and elsewhere.
Agreed. So I think there's a majority for the soccer complex. So then we just need to decide like how much amount. And you said, how much was the number again? You said 2 million?
2.5.
So would you guys feel comfortable with 3, just to be on the safe side in case prices have gone up?
What would that do? I'm sorry, I was looking up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That would just be keep what's existing. It
Oh.
wouldn't be renovation. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
something to consider.
So there is a rendering, right, where there are other things added to that one complex. There is a walking trail. Remind me, what else is there?
Extending the ponds.
The picnic areas. So that money would just be for the fields.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking, because I don't think we have a lot of trails, so I don't think we would need to add that added expense to that soccer complex, because it's way over there, it's not
I
that
mean,
much
the complaint
residential.
has always been the turf.
Yeah, exactly.
Soil, I mean.
So what Ford
So
says.
the $3 million, would that be just for the fields?
Would that also include the irrigation?
Yes, sir. Yes, because, so we already started work, Public Works already started work there at the fields. We had removed soil, so we have removed 2 inches of soil from 2 fields. We're doing it on 2 other fields right now, and we were able to save the irrigation on those 4. And so the goal is to continue doing that, right? And so there's going to be some savings there because we don't have to redo all the irrigation.
So with that money, that, let's say the 3 million, would that be enough where we could say, hey, advertise like, hey, come play your tournaments here, come here to Harlingen and come do that?
The renderings I've seen, and if you can pull it up on the map, if the guys in the back can throw it up on the screen, is that they're essentially, you know how they have the parking's kind of like an L? Well, they wanted to add
Josh.
the other side of the.
4 fields?
Have them go to Google Earth?
The other side of the championship team, or the championship field, they want to like add that, then like they said, expand the ponds, add more fields, things like that, right? And so if they're talking about 2.5 or whatever, just to maintain the 9 fields we have, that does not include expansion, right? And so if you want to make it one of those facilities where we can, it's like a top-notch Valley facility for tournaments, right? We've always talked about making Harlingen the tournament city again. The 2.5 is not going to get us there.
So then 4
Or
would,
even 3.
4 would probably be more realistic.
Yeah.
3.5, 4.
Well, yeah, and so if you're looking at doing the championship course field on turf, it would have to be 4.
I'm not a big fan of the turf. I always hear you like twist ankles and, right, like a lot more injuries on turf than you have on grass. And
I mean, the soccer league that's coming into the stadium's not going to put in turf, are they? They're going to keep it natural.
no, even all the professional
Right.
football fields, they're all grass now. Like they roll out of the stadium, keep it grass, and then they roll it back in. I know that's not the answer you want because now you got to maintain it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Another consideration is if you want to keep it just soccer, it
Correct.
could potentially become a sports facility. So it could be more than just soccer fields.
when do we have to give you an answer?
So
Pretty
I
soon.
have to, okay, the
15.
issue here, the reason why we're bringing this, even though it's still very preliminary, is that I have to set up a meeting with Texas Parks and Wildlife, and I have until April 1st to basically showcase the project and kind of get their feedback. So I need kind of their blessing to submit the project. And so that's what if anything, if you will give me like the top 3 projects that you could potentially discuss with Texas Parks and Wildlife, that will be enough, and then we can come back and present you with a more developed or scope out project.
Well, though this is my recommendation, is that I think we're all on board with the soccer complex, so let's proceed forward on that one. But I would like you to give us a good rendering of what we can do with it. The last item on our agenda, I think second to last item, is to set up for another meeting, right?
Yes.
And so we shoot for another city commission meeting before your date, so that we can have that conversation and bang it right out for you.
How much time do you need to set up what you need to do in order to go on April 1st?
So for April 1st, we don't need that much information. I mean, I can show them general site plan and kind of tell them the vision a little bit, like we're still deciding. And actually, it's a good conversation to have with them, because what if they say, no, this project is actually not a good project? So I think that's why we need to have that conversation with them first.
Okay.
So you want us to still have backup plans?
I think it will be ideal.
So 4B has over 2 million. If we could talk them into surrendering 2 million for this project, and Gabe says in our fund we have 1 million we could commit, that's 3, which would mean a total of 6.
I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, and then you know 6 million has an impact on the playing surface.
What are your thoughts about the Hugh Ramsey Nature Center?
Well, I think for that one of the discussion that was had among staff is, I think you need a building. It wouldn't be like a full-fledged, I don't know, recreation center or anything like that, but it could be like a visitor type of office building, kind of and maybe wetlands as well, wetland improvements in that park.
I was told
That-
that, that pavilion that's there right there, the foundation was placed or made to be able to support a building.
Oh,
Is that accurate?
I wasn't aware.
That's what I was told, and I think that, I'm never gonna pronounce this word right, Alderdon?
Autobahn.
Autobahn? Like the highway? The Autobahn Society actually has money set aside for
You
the
were mentioning
building.
at the meeting, yeah.
Audubon, not Autobahn.
Oh, Autobahn.
Audubon named after James Audubon, the painter.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He's on the Teaks. Oh, anyway, that's teacher stuff.
Yeah, from the early 1800s.
Yeah, AP Teaks.
I don't know if that,
AP. I had a question, Anna. On the list right here, I just couldn't help but notice. You don't have the Wilson Sports Complex. And I know we have a lot of fields there, and I think that could be an economic generator as well if we have more tournaments and stuff there. Was there a specific reason why, or just didn't come up?
No, I think I reached 7, and I'm like, that's more than enough options, so I kind of stopped there.
Okay.
There's no real reason, I mean.
Okay, well, I would recommend, or I would ask you guys to consider the sports, because I'm looking for stuff that's gonna have economic benefit. That's gonna, like, bring people here to Harlingen, so that way they can eat at our restaurants, they can stay at our hotels, and I think the key for that is tournaments. So I would ask, if you, like, when you bring it for the soccer complex, because that's still priority number 1, but if you need some backups, if you can maybe come up with something for the sports complex, so that way, maybe something that where we can fix up the fields, because I know I get a lot of complaints, from the people from the soccer, from the softball fields and all that. So maybe we can come up with some kind of rendering or an estimate to see how much it would cost to make the fields a little bit better, to the point where we would also be able to attract tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, that's doable. Wilson Park.
So the
one
main thing
comment-
we determine dollar amount, right? So
I
3
think-
million is what we all kind of have a consensus of
Well,
for our half?
didn't you say
Wh-
4?
Which would be 6, a total of
Correct.
6.
Yes, but I'm talking about for our
I
part.
said 4, Commissioner Mesmer said 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
That works for me.
3 and 3.
So we look at 6, no matter which project it goes to, that's the maximum that we can do.
And that could be a ceiling, not necessarily
Correct.
we're gonna shoot for that.
Yeah.
And I think, in my mind, if we can do the Harlingen Soccer Complex, the Hugh Ramsey Nature Center, and then the Wilson,
Sports complex.
Sports Complex.
And those are priority?
Except this is supposed to be only for one park.
Correct.
And if you're diluting things down, what you end up is with diluted parks.
So we.
Put the 6 million in the air
It would
and
still just be
let
one.
it shine.
It's 3 to consider from to pick one.
Yeah. We're not diluting it, Mike. We're gonna get those 3 options. They're gonna bring us renderings, and then we're gonna decide from those 3 to see which one have the more bang for your buck and maybe get some more, economic benefit from.
Did you get that, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so is there a motion on this?
Okay, before you make the motion, I'm sorry.
Oh,
The
I'm
one
sorry.
thing I want to make sure that I stated, just based on the comments about attracting visitors and all of that, the one thing that this grant actually prohibits is to make improvements into developing these facilities into like professional or semi-professionals.
Oh, no,
That will
just-
be,
yeah.
you understand? So I just want to make sure I put it out, because that's the one limitation of the grant.
I think that would take more than what we're ponying up money-wise.
So we're looking, at the Harlingen Soccer Complex, Wilson,
And Hugh Ramsey.
Hugh Ramsey.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
I want to ask for, if possible, for Victor because of the softball fields. And you will turn around and get people right off the expressway to go there, and you have the golf course there, so there's plenty. So if you don't mind, just throw in Victor,
Okay, 4?
and then, let's see which one's our best bet.
We already have the 1.5 going to Victor, right?
750,000, yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
We already have the 1.5 that's going into Victor that we just got, and then the other 5.5 for the golf course.
So, yeah, because I would agree with Danny on that one, because Victor, we've already shown a lot of love. Like, you and I we did
lot of love.
Yeah, we did golf, the Tony Butler, and then you're going to be getting that other grant too.
Actually, switching gears real quick. So we got the $1 million for Pendleton, the
rec
facility. Could we use and apply, no, we cannot use the money for that facility, even though it's for community purposes?
You can have fund a recreation center,
Okay.
like the one that we're proposing.
All
The
right, sorry.
reason why I put
And
Pendleton.
I think that was 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5, right?
Yes, 1.5. The reason why I included Pendleton Park, it's because I was focusing on the pool, because the pool also needs a lot of improvements.
Oh, that needs a lot of improvement.
So you could potentially renovate it, you could add a splash pad, you could do a lot of things there and kind of complement everything that's going on already at Pendleton. So that's just.
So if we had $100 million.
The Mike Mesmar, give me $300 million, I'll fix all the drainage, right?
All right, somebody give me some sort of a,
All right, I'll make a motion to direct our amazing special projects director to give us 3 renderings and a full build-out, price build-out for Harlingen Soccer Complex, Hugh Ramsey Nature Center, and the Wilson, the Sports Complex. Sports Complex, please.
Second.
all right, we have a motion by Commissioner Lopez, a second by Commissioner Perez to authorize going forward with renderings for Harlingen Soccer Complex, Hugh Ramsey, and Wilson Sports Complex. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Item H, consideration and possible action to approve a request to repair damages sustained to the parking lot located at 1116 South Commerce Street, Harlingen, Texas, Richard's Restaurant, caused by the city's refuse units while servicing the garbage containers. This is considered private property with a total estimate cost of $1,465, which includes cost of repairs, equipment, materials, and labor. Public Works, this item was tabled at the regular City Commission meeting on February 19, 2025.
Any motion to take this off the table?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Perez,
Mesmer.
by Commissioner Mesmar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Lopez abstains. All right.
Commissioners, Christopher Torres, Public Works Director for the record. So this, since the last time I presented this, I actually had a conversation with Mr. Uribe, and on your packet, you'll see 3 pictures where he is requesting for us to do the repairs. Now, at the last meeting, I was asked by the commission how much it'll take to do the repairs, and I said under $1,000, but that was not considering the addition of this repair right here, which is, it's right in the middle of the parking space that he has on the rear of the restaurant. And so the amount to do those repairs would be $1,465.
What would be just to do the curb on the turn?
Just the curb?
Yeah, 'cause that's what I think all he wants is just a turn, because that's where the grease trap is at.
So, yeah, that one, it's gonna be anywhere between 600 and 700.
Well, that would be our recommendation, just to do that, just the curb. And not necessarily
An
that.
amount not to exceed
700.
700.
Okay, so one, do we have a legal obligation to fix private property that our garbage truck drives over? I guess that's a question.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, you're basically resolving a claim, a potential claim against the city for damage caused by a city vehicle.
We repaired the entry, we did that because it's in the right-of-way, and so that's on our property, so that curb, we fixed just the curb and gutter, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so that's all we need to do on this one, is just fix the curb and gutter too, where we may have hit it.
And
that's it.
so what's to prevent from this reoccurring in 2 years or 4 years?
You guys have to figure out a way not to run over it. I don't know how you do that.
So I have thought about communicating to Mr. Uribe to see if we could relocate the container. The thing is that the access to the back of the restaurant, it's somewhat limited. Sometimes we do find vehicles on the path to the back, and so we can't service a container at times. Then we'll have to go back and service a container. So there's several factors there, right? Where I think that we could move the container to a different location to avoid something like this, but then also avoid us not having to be able to service a container and having to go back.
But that would be something he would have to do, correct?
Well, he would have to agree to that. We can find the space, it's just he would have to agree for us to relocate the container where it's not really too visible to his tenant, to his customers, basically. What happens in restaurants, right? They like to put their containers either in the back, or if they're on the side, they build an enclosure. Now we have an ordinance where any new infrastructure has to have an enclosure, but the current one doesn't have that. So it all depends.
I think in most restaurants, when you go through like a drive-through, you're going to see the container anywhere, anyway, so.
Any other discussion?
So we're gonna recommend only the $600, or what is that?
700, just for the curb on the.
Just the curb.
Yeah, above the grease trap, or that's right next to it.
That was more than likely done by us.
It could have been, yes. I don't have any video, I didn't witness that myself. And so, Mr. Uribe has expressed that he has seen when some of our trucks go over that curb.
And did you, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Has he made a lodged a complaint when that happens? Has he called?
No, sir. That he made that complaint some time back, basically stating that in the past, some of our trucks had gone over that island. And so he did express to our sanitation superintendent and our street superintendent that he had taken some pictures of our vehicle tires really close to the island. So it could have been us, right? But I can't tell you for sure or for certain right now that's what happened.
So I have recommended approval up to the amount of $700.
Did you make the motion, or?
No, I'm just stating what the amounts that were put out. But I will make that
Yeah,
as a motion.
yeah, Mesmer will make the motion up to $700.
Okay, second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mesmer to approve up to $700, a second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, motion passes.
And Commissioner Lopez abstained.
And Commissioner Lopez abstained.
Item I, consideration and possible action to authorize the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding, MOU, with the City of Donna for the sale of 3 refuse vehicles. Public Works.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, Christopher Torres, Public Works Director for the record. So we do have 3 refuse vehicles. It's 2 residential trucks and 1 commercial truck that we have put out of our front line. Those vehicles will be placed in the auction once the city's auction will take place. This is hardly, it's around August, September. And so we are no longer utilizing these vehicles. They have some issues. For us, they have passed their life. And so City of Donna did reach out to us, and so they're in need of vehicles, and they're willing to put funding into getting these vehicles for their routing.
Think it's a good price?
It is, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. I have a question. Can we use these proceeds to, basically, I guess it's for you, Gabe, but Robert, to purchase a street sweeper?
This is out of a enterprise fund, right?
It is enterprise.
Yeah. We would probably have to put them back into sanitation somehow, Commissioner.
So can we use it eventually?
A street sweeper we'd have to pay for, because that's general fund.
Walk me through that, because it seems that wouldn't a street sweeper be Public Works?
Well, it is Public Works, but it's not out of the enterprise fund. The enterprise fund generates revenue. And so these are garbage trucks that pick up garbage. So we charge for that. And so they generate a revenue. They build a fund balance that stays only to that fund, which is right now, I don't know, about 4 million or so.
That is right.
I'm guessing. Now, if you want the street sweeper, we can actually try to fund that, but it wouldn't be out of, I wouldn't recommend we use these funds, because this is,
It doesn't generate revenue.
yeah, because it's general fund.
Yeah.
And so normally you don't commingle enterprise funds.
I got
and
it, I
general
got it.
fund.
But I do have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
How many sweepers do we have?
2.
This is for the whole city,
That is correct, sir.
and both of them are obviously working.
Yes.
Nothing's on blocks or it's,
No, sir. So those are our 2 newest, right? So one is 1 year old, and the other one is 3 years old. And so,
So that's something that's come up during budget, maybe.
yes.
got you.
So we have a motion approved by Commissioner Lopez and a second by Commissioner Perez. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
Item J.
Hey, Chris, before you get down, we need to buy the code enforcement, that, the tractor, the lawnmower and all that stuff. Can we get it on for the next agenda?
Sure. Yeah.
Oscar, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, they had already brought the quotes and yeah.
It's already been 2 meetings now. So
Yeah.
for this next one that we're gonna have,
That's
for
our
April
big
1st,
question.
let's, please make it a priority, put it on there, let's bang it out.
Yeah, I can get that quote in a couple of days, so.
Please, thank you.
Manny has it.
Okay.
Item J, consideration and possible action to approve a request from Remi Garza, Cameron County Elections Administrator, to use the Harlingen Cultural Arts Center, 575-76 Drive, as a polling place for the May 3rd, 2025 general and special elections, early voting, and election day site on the dates and times below. Early voting is from Tuesday through Friday, April 22nd through the 25th, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, April 26th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Tuesday, April 28th through the 29th, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And on Election Day, it's Saturday, May 3rd, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they are requesting just to use the Cultural Arts Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Morales. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner Lopez abstains. Motion passes.
Item K, consideration and possible action to reschedule the City Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025 to a future date.
We have an event coming up on April 2nd that the majority of commissioners generally attend. So we're asking that we're not asking to cancel the meeting, but we're asking to move it from April 2nd, and I would hope that we could move it to April 7th. That's a Monday at 5:30.
Yeah.
I'll move it to the 26th of March. We need to get it before April 1st.
Well, it's got to be for April. Normally, we have 2 a month, and so, I mean, there's no reason why we can't have another one in March just to have for that
Special meeting?
one item, yeah.
Yeah,
So we can still do that.
2 items. Like the lawnmowers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we can do that. The only thing is that normally on the 26th, that's when we have our second P and Z meeting, and so, do you have anything scheduled, Sol? We could always move it to Thursday, that 27th. I don't think there's anything for that day.
We actually have quite a bit of items, few subdivisions for next week's meeting.
Okay, yeah, so we could probably, if we need to have another meeting in March, we could have it on the 27th, but,
The 27th, you have the Keep Harlingen Beautiful meeting, which has 2 commissioners. So what about the 25th?
25th,
It's Tuesday.
that's,
Everyone available on the 25th?
We have like an EDC?
there's an EDC meeting. That's going to be at the TSTC building.
I can do that.
Hmm?
I'm good with that.
The 25th? Yeah, let's do the
That
25th.
work for me.
25th, okay, so the meeting, the special meeting on the 25th for those 2 items for March. But for April, unless you want to count that as the April meeting, I'd rather, we can, but it's, normally we have 2.
You're
a
trying
month.
to have the second meeting when? The 25th?
No, that's going to be a special meeting. on the-
Can't do it on the 1st?
Can you do it on the 24th, which is on that Monday?
Okay, now,
We'd have 2 meetings back to back?
Talking 2 different meetings.
Yeah, the other one that we're trying to reschedule has to be in April, because it's an April meeting.
So,
Does the first work?
The first word, oh, wait, give me a second.
Works for me, for an April meeting.
April Fools? Norma's not here, we should definitely pull a prank on her.
April
It's April Fool's Day.
okay, I'm scheduled to be taking some CEUs that day for my service on the Harlingen Pension Board. And I think Robert's going to be there too. So we can certainly have it on the 1st, but I would ask if we considered it for the 7th.
I'm fine with the 7th.
I'm good with 7.
7th works for me.
Okay.
Linda, would you please just send us some calendar invites on those two, please?
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much.
Okay, we'll get them set.
Okay, so we're
Do
having
we
a
need a
special
motion
meeting
for that?
on the 25th?
Yes, I would. Please.
Just to
So
confirm?
can I get for both or just the special one we don't need, right?
No, we don't really need
All
them,
right, so can I get a motion to reschedule the first April meeting from the 2nd to the 7th of April?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perez, second by Commissioner Lopez. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? April 7th.
Item 11, board appointments, specifically appointment or discussion and possible action to include appointment and/or removal of any position subject to appointment or removal by statute, ordinance, or bylaws.
I have none for District 1.
None.
Well, I don't have any appointments. I do have Ms. Melinda that's going to provide you with some info, and I'll give you a test next time we have a meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's it for me.
I do want to, I'm looking at my little chart here. I want to reappoint Jim Young to the Community Development Advisory Board. I also want to reappoint Omar Villarreal to the Library Advisory Board. And that's it. Yeah, just those two.
Melinda, did you get?
And they were both reappointments.
Yeah, their term is up, so I'm just reappointing them. Yeah.
Commissioner Mesmar, did you have anything?
No, I didn't.
Did you
Make
get
a
that,
motion to
Christina?
approve those three appointments, reappointments.
Okay, sir.
We have a motion to approve the reappointments by Commissioner Lopez. All second.
Second.
Favor?
What? Second?
Aye.
I seconded.
Okay, aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. There is nothing for executive session,
No, sir.
and we are adjourned. Thank you.